What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. So recently, I reacted to a video, and it mentioned that there were some rocky waters with CEDRIC Cornbread Maxwell and Larry Bird that seemed to revolve around the fact that Cedric was saying some stuff that, you know, pretty much insinuated that he was giving up on a team or abandoning them, something along those lines. And of course, Larry wouldn't stand for that and had some words to say. Now, I don't know if that is what this video is about. Maybe on some level, maybe part of it. I don't know. But I'm really curious to get into this. The true story behind Larry Bird, CEDRIC Maxwell controversial relationship. I found this one on my own. It popped up randomly. That's where the internet has a way of tracking things you're watching and finding correlations and pumping more content out to keep you invested in the platform. But hey, for somebody that's reacting to these videos and learning and giving commentary on it, I thank you for that. All right, let's get into it.
Boston Celtics have won the World Championship in 1981, and they have become the 14th flag winners for the Boston Garden.
The 1981 World Champion Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah, I remember all this. The ice had been broken. I did not prepare for it. I think that the thing which was really cool for me, one of the coolest moments maybe that I've ever had, probably was that night, Larry's night. And I remember Bob Costa saying,
Max, how does it feel to be back at the Boston Garden?
and everybody stood and gave me the standing ovation. And I thought that was the coolest thing, being recognized as a part in this organization. And so I take that one probably more than anything. The speech and all the things I do what I normally do. I ad-lib.
Great being back. Unfortunately, they gave me the gift, Larry, so I guess I'm going to take it home with me. It was a thrill really playing with you. And you know it was me and you, first of all, before you challenged any other these guys in the NBA, it was me and you going heads up every day. And all I remember, them 20-footers raining down on me, so. And I always remember thinking like, boy, you know, this white guy really can play, can't he?
Yeah, he can play a little bit.
That's just me. That's who I am as a person. You know, we'll ad-lib.
Larry, I guess it's my honor in representing all the guys behind me and some of the guys who aren't here, Terry Durod and Wayne Cretlow, who were on the team also. It's my honor to present you with this, what the hell is this?
They didn't give me a speech. It was like, look, we're going to give you this thing. We want you to give it to Larry. And so they gave me the microphone. That's when I started talking. I did not know that I was going to be the guy representing
Okay. Oh, Bob, you know, I'm after your job, but never mind.
No, it was just here's this plaque, and we want you to talk. You know, you see us smiling at each other. I think Larry and I have always said, Larry and I, our understanding that we were basketball players. Yeah, we had nothing else in common. We didn't, it wasn't fashion, it wasn't world politics, it wasn't the state of affairs of of what the president might have been doing at the time.
And it was really great because it's the first time we won something any of us has won anything, and it's very special. So this team is very special. There's no question about it.
it was strictly basketball, and we understood each other, and we loved that particular thing. And I understood more than anybody how to take a subservient role. I could have fought City Hall and tried to be, tried to ambush Larry and tried to, just try to be disruptive. But no, I knew if I helped Larry that it was going to only help
now
me.
Now we have the MVP and the designated team spokesman.
Well, it's hard really to reflect on what we did. I think tomorrow I'll finally realize, I'm world champion. And being able to wear a T-shirt saying Boston the world champion is going to be quite an accomplishment. Getting the championship ring, I think the money, as they say sometimes, is secondary when you're talking about just the pride and everything that goes along with winning the championship. This is my first championship in anything, and so I'm just happy. I'm totally happy.
I was recognized as being on one of the best front lines in the history of basketball. I was recognized as that. But when I left, they became the big three. So what I did, I'm averaging 19 points a game before Larry Bird got here. And Bill Fitch came to me and said, well, you seem like a pretty smart guy. Who do you think's going to guard the toughest guy every night? I'm looked at him like, dude, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And so it's just like, no, you're guarding the toughest guy every night. And so my role, defined as a great scorer, now became, look, you can score, but your main asset is going to be you're going to have to rebound, and you're going to have to play defense every single night against some of the toughest guys in the league. And I accepted it. I just think that he didn't want the pressure on Larry. He didn't want the pressure of Larry trying to score. He wanted Larry to have a freedom of just playing the game and not being every single time down trying to defend the toughest guys in the league. I think offensive rebounding again is anchoring yourself in a position. And I think those guys I think Kevin's game kind of went out on the floor a little bit more. Robert wasn't battling as much in the paint. We were a beast on the glass. If you got it up there and you missed, one of us was probably going to come down with it. It was myself, Kevin, Robert. And I had a great relationship with Robert because I played against Robert when I was in college.
I've never seen that before.
He played at Centenary University. He was on one of the top independent teams in the country at the time, and I was at UNC Charlotte, and we were about to become one of the top independents at the time. So we used to see each other. We played each other probably like 4 times while we were in college. I think we divided. We went 2-2. So I got a chance to play against Robert. I didn't know as much about him, but I knew him from playing against him in college.
Work together. The Chief, 00, who never gets excited.
This is a hell of a feeling, it feels good, I'm glad everything is over. Teammates did a hell of a job, of keeping their paws and not got in foul trouble. I'm proud of everyone, the organization, coaches, everybody. And so it's just been a hell of a year. It's been a long year, and I'm glad everything is over now. But this is the way to finish the year off, winning the world championship.
Is this, you think, the beginning of several world championships? The players are young. Most of the front lines under contract, so it looks like you're going to be together for a while.
Well, we're very capable of winning, 2 or 3 more championships. We're as good as we want to be.
He had the reputation of probably being, people didn't know him, thinking that he was lazy. He didn't want to play hard. Because he was so quiet, people didn't know he was that smart or that funny. But he was a brilliant guy. Off the court and on the court. And I just don't think people give him credit. I think, again, because he was just like myself, we had the same, he had the even harsher Southern dialect, which kind of came along with it because we used to tease Robert all the time. Like Southern guys sometimes, instead of saying shrimp, they would say squimp. So we're someplace eating. We'd be like, Robert, you want some more squimps? And we used to tease him, and he didn't even know we were teasing him about it. But it just almost became a joke within a joke. He was the backbone of that, and the fact he was a great defender, he was a great scorer, he was a rebounder. He could do a lot of things. He ran the floor as well as any big in the NBA. And I used to rock, and that was real funny because I remember Bill Fitch, getting on him that first week and say, "You got to run. Your biggest asset is going to be you're going to be running up and down the floor, just getting layups." And Robert just couldn't get it, and then finally they got on the same page, and we saw who Robert Parrish was, and he was that running, mobile center who could shoot it from about 15 feet away, could rebound, could face you, could go to the post game. He had an arsenal of things he could go to.
Staples Center. CEDRIC Maxwell played in so many championship games. He's their radio analyst.
I said, well, I'm not a stats person. I said, I tell stories. I am more of a storyteller than a stat person. And I leave those stats to people, like the broadcaster, like the voice of the Celtics, like a Sean Grant.
Steve, here, I'll give you one right now on air, and this is how you're supposed to act.
I'm right back at you, buddy.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming on.
That's about all I can give you right now.
So Maxwell was a very important piece to that first 80s championship. He was the finals MVP. And what I've heard, what I've read is that CEDRIC Maxwell does feel a bit underappreciated about his contributions, especially in that first championship in 1981. His name really never gets mentioned. And it is a shame because he was a key contributor to that team, obviously nabbing finals MVP to help lead the Celtics back to championship glory after the Lakers had just won the first one in that decade, courtesy of Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, he didn't really allude to the point I was making prior to watching the video, but what he did say is that him and Larry Bird had came to the conclusion that, hey, I don't have nothing in common, you don't have nothing in common with me, whatever. We don't have to be friends, we don't have to be jovial, we don't have to hang out and do things, and that's okay. We can keep this strictly basketball, keep it strictly professional, and we can have a fruitful work relationship that way. I mean, that's how Kobe and Shaq was. Yeah, Kobe and Shaq had times they joke around, yada yada, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, it was always basketball. It was always basketball. Kobe wasn't as jovial as Shaq, wasn't as childish as Shaq, and vice versa with Shaq to Kobe on the other end. And there were times, like I said, they'd have fun together, but largely it was a basketball relationship. That's all it was. And for Kobe, he'd rather have it like that. That's how Kobe's wired. So probably something somewhat similar. And I know Maxwell, from what I've heard, is a bit of a jokester himself. So maybe you guys can add more context, elaborate, or call me out if I'm mistaken on anything I've said. I wanted to read to you guys this article. I wanted to read to you all this article that I found regarding the Larry Bird comment saying that he got his money and quit on the team. Now, CEDRIC Maxwell was hurt prior to getting traded from the Boston Celtics. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read this. For Max, California always triggered fond memories of his playing days. The championship battles against the Lakers, including his second title in 1984, are forever ingrained in his memory. He also played 2 seasons for the Los Angeles Clippers. Nostalgia washes over the 81 Finals MVP, which is ideal for a conversation about his estranged relationship with Celtics icon Larry Bird. Ahead of the 84-85 campaign, Cornbread inked a new deal with the Celtics. Right? Before suffering a left knee injury in February of that season, He underwent arthroscopic surgery before returning to the floor as a shell of his former self. Far removed from the player that impacted the 1984 NBA Finals, Max and the Celtics lost in 6 games of their 85 best-of-7 rematch against the Lakers. For Max, it was his last season in Boston. Celtics traded him in exchange for Bill Walton. He got his money and quit, quoted by Larry Bird, per his book, When the Game Was Ours, co-authored by Magic Johnson. Bird's words have bothered Cedric for years. In an attempt to set the record straight, he wanted to tell his side of the story. Quote, Cedric Maxwell quoted, "We had just won the championship, and then I was starting to feel pain in my knee, almost before the season, really, in '84. And I didn't really think of it no more than regular aches and pains," Maxwell said. "The one day I thought it was really different was the night I was in bed. I was asleep, and all of a sudden I turned and I heard somebody scream, like in a pain, and I was like, who was that? Then I realized it was me." It was too late for Max to sit out and recover by then. Celtics medical staff ultimately decided he needed to undergo a minor procedure on his left knee. "I think the big thing was the doctors didn't know I was hurt because my knee wasn't swelling up because I didn't swell," Maxwell said. "So therefore he was like, maybe it's just in your mind. And I knew it wasn't, but it was just hard to get guys to believe me. That was frustrating." Sounds like a Kawhi Leonard situation. As his numbers dramatically dropped in the postseason, from about 12 points and 5 rebounds to about 4 points and 2.5 rebounds in '85, Maxwell was ultimately demoted to the bench for Kevin McHale. However, the severity of the injury didn't shake who Maxwell was and still is as a person. In 2020, amid the COVID-19 shutdown, Maxwell said he and Bird reconnected over the phone. They've buried the hatchet as the two came to a civil understanding of what transpired over 35 years ago. "Bird was the greatest player I ever played with. He and I were one of the best forward combinations in the NBA," Maxwell wrote in his new book. "We weren't the best of friends, but we were basketball friends. That's the way I can put it. We loved the game, and our competitive juices made each other better." Some more context for you all. But hey, if you have more that you can add to the story, more details, please let me know in the comment section. As always, correct me if I misspoke on anything, please. I make mistakes all the time, and I look to you all for guidance, all right? So let me know in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I will catch you on the next one. We out, baby.